Hello there, everybody, and welcome to Our Life. This is I believe it's a dating sim. It's definitely a visual novel, where we follow a group of characters through different stages of growing up. It's cute, it's LGBT, and it's free. It's free on Steam. They have DLC that you can get for extra that adds new storylines and stuff like that. But for right now, I'm just playing the main free experience. And I'm very curious about this. If it ends up being good and you guys end up liking it, maybe I'll come back and do some of the DLC later. But for now, let's go ahead and dive on and look at them. So adorable here, and here equally adorable, but now of age. Anyways, something interesting about this game is that it gives you tons of character customization options as a base. And then on top of that, at the various stages of your life, you can change aspects of your character. According to the tutorial I read off camera, everything about your character can be changed over time, except for your skin color, your last name, and your eye color, which, I mean, I appreciate the attention to detail there. I mean, there are various ways you can customize and interact with the game. The tutorial is an overview of how certain features work. Lovely. Full tutorial. Yes, start off the game. Yeah, four time periods. So little kids, teenagers, young adults, and then grown-ass adults. Okay. And then vignettes that take place during specific time periods called moments. Yep. Is this literally the entire tutorial that I already read? You can pick a preset name. Oh, by the way, I'm not sure if there's voice acting in the game, but I do know there must be at least an option, because as a default, apparently they only have the default name Jamie spoken, but there is a one moment. Just gonna check. Did I get that? I feel like that's pretty basic to have gotten. Voice name expansion. I did get the voice name expansion. I thought I was like, yeah, unfortunately I gotta pay to get the extra name. No, you don't have to pay. They're free. Okay. Okay, cut in CGs. Yep. I know how visual novels work. Basically, even if you decide you like Cove, the game won't force you to act on those feelings. Oh, lovely. You can always choose to not get together with him, choose not to accept or give romantic gestures, etc. That's nice. That's nice, because sometimes it's like, in some visual novels, it'll be like, I flirted with this person once, and now apparently we are kissing. If you do decide to date Cove, though, you can't break up with him later. Oh, interesting. Okay. You know, some limitations to the game, I guess. Interest/comfort gets the basics down, but it's the choices that appear throughout the normal game events that decide what actually happens between the main character and Cove. Okay. And it isn't only the main character who's impacted by your decisions. Cove grows and changes over the years. So in the I know some of the DLCs include new people to romance. Do I only have Cove in the free version? I'm not sure. How he's treated and what he experiences helps shape who he becomes. Okay, Cove's personality, appearance, and interests will vary based on what happened to him in the previous step. This is something very interesting. I'm very curious to see how this plays out. And you know what? We're gonna skip. Here we are. Okay, my character. Oh, chubby, pointed, oval. Well, you know, if it's your boy, it's gotta be chubby. Let's see. Really pale, peachy. I technically, if I ever see the sun, I have an olive complexion. Eye shape. Rectangle. Lovely. Oval. I mean, I feel like I have... I probably have a lidded. Right? Right. Let's go with this one. Eye color. We're gonna go... demon baby. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. Very interesting colors going on here. Okay. I can't really tell if I have blue or green eyes. I kind of have blue eyes with kind of a flash of yellow in them, so they sometimes look green, but they're not all the way green. I'm gonna go with blue. Let's see, haircut. Well, if it was your boy as a child, let's see, where would my hair be as a kid? I did this haircut plenty as a kid. Braid front. Oh my god, it's adorable. It's adorable. Also, I make no promises that my character is going to stay any particular way, because I'll just go wherever the frick I want, you know. Well, this is me in my teenage years, probably. Ooh, tritone. Okay, two-tone. Oh my god. Sorry. Don't mind me. Oh, but you know. But you know, at some point, my little gay baby has got to do a two-tone haircut. Oh yeah, that's probably close. Swept bangs. No, not shaved. Pulled back. Smooth. Yeah, it's definitely smooth. Yeah, that was me as a little kid. Let's see. Hair back. Oh wow. For the really long haircut. Also for generally just long hair. Pink. I think strands is definitely the closest for how I was as a kid. Ooh. Oh boy, howdy. I don't have black hair, but that brown is ugh. You know what? As a kid, this was accurate. I had kind of blondish hair when I was really young. So we're gonna go ahead and do that instead. We're gonna be a he as a child, and then let's see, Voiced names. Okay. Okay. Now, do they have my actual name? They have Franklin. That's close enough. Franklin. Okay, my last name. Do I want to put my last name out into the world? I'm gonna put Deeb. Franklin Deeb. Okay, birthmarks. What up? I mean, I feel like did I have any scars? Not on my face, really. Rosy cheeks. I always kind of had rosy cheeks. I had freckles. Let's see. No rosy cheeks, because honestly, I don't like the look. Hand size. I mean, they've never been exactly massive. Oh, chubby, slender. Okay. As a kid, did I go with a chubby face? I'm gonna go with the medium hands. I don't know why this matters. Oval. Oh, look at Harry Potter over here. Half oval. No glasses. I used to wear sunglasses all the time because my eyes were really sensitive to sunlight. But I never wore corrective lenses. Birthmarks. Technically, I have one on my back. Don't have any scars, at least as a kid. Let's see. I had freckles on my arms, mostly because they were the only thing I exposed to sunlight. Well, other than I wore shorts. All right. Anyways, clothing types: pants and shirts for this this newly minted cisgendered boy. All right. Accessory types: hats. Yep. I had not yet gotten to my bracelets stage. That was a high school thing. It's gonna be very interesting updating this as it goes. Okay. Oh, done. There we go. All right. Oh, okay. Summer in Sunset Bird was a special time of year. Your usual sleepy town began to bustle. It was a popular tourist destination, with people coming from all over to enjoy the beach, the weather, and the relaxation that came with both. I live in San Diego, so I understand. The smell of the ocean, crisp and salty, hung in the air, bringing 3 whole months of schoolless vacation with it. During the summer, your moms... I have 2 moms, apparently. Okay, good to know. Didn't like to wander too far outside. Didn't like you to wander too far outside of your neighborhood. There we go. I gotta dial it back in. So you knew the area pretty well. That included the people. Families came and went from Sunset Bird, but they mostly stayed and did what your mom called putting down roots. It was terrifying. They were gardening all the time. Lawns being uprooted everywhere. They built businesses. They got to know each other. And they definitely said hello to the nice young kids who waved when passing their stores. Going for a walk around town mostly meant that the familiar, friendly residents waved or asked how your family was, or most often just said hello. Okay, you didn't really get why they always had to say hi. They saw you every day, but you nodded back at them anyway. You ended up saying hi to a lot of different people, since most of the tourists that came and went every summer were the same ones. You were too anxious to say hi back to most of the other residents that greeted you, but they all know you well enough to expect that. Okay, let's see. Me as a kid, I'm trying to think, because I don't think as a kid I wasn't socially anxious. I didn't learn that until I was older. Let's see. Would I be the one who says hi to everyone? No, as I always would think that my friend Patrick was the one who did that all the time. So I think I'm the one who just kind of nodded. It was the polite thing to do, after all, and your moms had taught you to always be respectful. That's about right. But today there was a man sitting on the curb outside your house. He was sitting with his head in his hands, his whole body slumped over, and you wondered if he was even a real person or a statue that had magically sprung up from the ground overnight. Whoever or whatever he was, you had never seen him before. One thing about knowing everyone in Sunset Bird was that people who you didn't recognize really stood out. It was rare for tourists to venture into the residential district, as your moms called it. So for you, not knowing who a total stranger was set off a lot of red flags. Your moms had a talk with you and your big sister Lizzie about this kind of situation before. You hadn't exactly been listening at the time. You think it could be okay to talk to new people. They mentioned that some people aren't good to talk to, but other types of people can help you even if you don't know them. You remember that it's okay to run away if you feel uncomfortable. You don't have to worry about being polite then. So my parents really cared about me being polite, but on the other hand, my parents did always tell me, hey, yo, if something's up, just get out of there, get someone you know. If you're ever like feeling unsafe, just get out of there and run to an adult that you trust. And I feel like that makes this the most logical answer. You weren't sure about this man yet. Still, you felt a bit scared knowing that he was blocking the way to your front door. But you were pretty interested. You wanted to know more about what was going on. Whether he was nice or not, you didn't want to be bothered. I feel like if he's blocking my front door, I probably would have been like, hi? Like, I'm gonna lean to a bit more sociable. You slowed down, your eyes remaining fixed on the man. There was a split second where your eyes met and you knew he was aware he wasn't alone on the street anymore. Hey! You raised your eyebrows at the shout. Did he want something? Is that why he was here? The man stood up and started to make his way toward you. Not wanting to seem too approachable, you folded your arms and stared. Ooh. Still unsure about him, but willing to be friendly, you offered the stranger a smile. Listen. Try to be friendly. So far, he's just shouted hey at you. He might just be not very socially aware. The man gives a grin of his own back. Do you live around here? What's your name? You looked the man up and down, taking in his tanned skin and relaxed appearance. At least his clothes were relaxed. The way it was acting wasn't. Oh, well, yeah, I know plenty of people like that. He had sharks on his shorts and a stingray tattoo, and you wondered if he was obsessed with the ocean or something. While you made your assessment, he looked at you expectantly, waiting for an answer to his question. What was the question? I'm going to give the barest amount of information. That's great. He looked happy to hear it, giving you a broad smile. Why are you offering me money, man? He reached into his pocket and pulled out a clean $20 bill. It crinkled in his hand as he held it up to you. Even more confused than before, you looked back at him. Well, could you do me a favor? Nothing bad. Sorry, I should have let me start over. He cleared his throat and stood up straighter. From where you were standing, it just made him look creepier. I have a son. His name is Cove, who's about your age. Cove. That seemed like a strange name for an actual living person to you. You chewed on the inside of your cheek. This guy was definitely obsessed with water. You named your son Cove? He wasn't the only person like that in Sunset Bird. We moved in across the street, see? He gestured toward the house that had been empty for a year, his watch catching the late afternoon sunlight and reflecting off the walls. The gigantic for sale sign was finally gone. You must be Franklin Deeb, right? I hate that. Don't call me Franklin. Oh, I met your moms earlier and they told me you were 8, just like him. So, you know, in my mind, I was thinking I was like 7. So I was close. He shook the $10 bill to bring it back to your attention, a hopeful smile tilting his lips at the corners. Can you try to be friends with the boy? Why are you bribing me to be friends with your son? Why? Why is this where we're beginning? You could have just come over, introduced him, just give it a chance and you can keep this. He's a good kid, you'll like him. But you've got to keep it a secret, okay? It wouldn't be friendly to say his dad sent you. Did other kids really get their parents to pay for friendships? Let's see. I mean, yeah, I'd feel bad for the kid. Like, this definitely wasn't the normal way kids made friends. You knew that. What do you say? Want to make a deal? I'm good on the money. No, thank you. Sorry. He deflated enough to notice, but not completely. Are you sure? It won't be so bad. Even if it's just for the summer, that'd be enough. That only made this sound more strange to you. Why does it lasting for the summer matter? When it was clear his initial strategy wasn't going to fly, he tucked the bill into a back pocket and changed the request. I get it. You don't have to. Would you be comfortable with he and I coming by for a normal visit? No money involved? You'd have to ask my moms. I'm 8. I'm 8 years old. His smile got bigger again. His eyes crinkled at the sides. Of course, they invited us over earlier, but I'd like to ask you too. Then I guess you can. I'll bring him by tomorrow. I wanted him to meet and greet with the neighbors today, but well, I don't know where he's gotten off to. Uh, he laughed when he said that, but with the way his face looked, you thought he actually wanted to cry. Oh no, it's okay, Pope's dad. It's okay. If you see him, can you tell him to come on home? He's got a pink cast and glasses. You can't miss it. I can try. You nodded, not totally certain you'd find Cove, but willing to look. The man smiled and reached out to pat you on the head, paused before doing so, then pulled his hand away instead. Yeah, don't touch me, man. Your moms are already checking around for me. Such a thoughtful group you are. Now I better go look too. Can't put everyone else to work while I keep sitting here. I thought he might come back, and that's not what's important. I have to go. What? Come back and what? Come back and what, Cove's dad? Thanks again, Franklin, so much. He jogged off down the street without another word. You decided to check the hills behind your house. Step 1. First sight. The chirping of crickets in the tall grass greeted you, quiet and familiar. From the top of the hill, you could see the ocean. As you walked, you listened to the crash of the waves on the shore and the seagulls squawking as they settled down for the night. You've always loved the ocean. It was so much fun. You love to hear stories about the sea, about the merfolk and sea serpents you imagined living far beneath the waves. You didn't enjoy the beach all that much, especially the sand, which got absolutely everywhere. Okay, so the thing is, I love stories about pretty much anything. Tell me stories about merfolk and sea serpents, but that's not all I care about. Like tell me about dragons and aliens from space and all that kind of stuff. I'm a big nerd in that sense. But this thing just spoke to me. I don't enjoy the beach all that much because the sand gets everywhere. It gets into the creases and then everything hurts and I hate it. So we're gonna go with that one. You really good. And I live in San Diego, and this kid lives in something bird. I forget the name already. Anyways, you really couldn't understand why so many people came all the way from where they really lived just to visit the ocean. You took in a deep breath. You wanted to try and relax and couldn't. See, I get the ocean. The ocean, cool. Very calming and relaxing waves. I just don't want to be on the beach where the waves are crashing up on me and any number of sea creatures could randomly be washed up, including jellyfish. And then you got the whole situation of having to pee on the stage. I don't know why I'm digressing like this. Anyways, you weren't sure what, but something told you that you weren't alone, so you glanced around. There was a boy sitting on the top of one hill, almost completely hidden within the long grass and white flowers surrounding him. His head was buried in his knees, staring ahead by himself. For whatever reason, probably just that he wasn't paying attention, he hadn't noticed you yet. You watched him a minute longer, feeling a bit like you'd found a deer in the wild. Though deer didn't have green hair, wavy eyebrows, huge glasses, pink casts, sad frowns. I'm gonna go with pink casts. I feel like that makes the most pink casts. But this new boy did. You wondered how he got it. After a few more seconds, you took a step forward, then another. And then he glanced your way. Hello! His aquamarine eyes reflected the light of the moon. You stopped, raising a hand to acknowledge him and show you weren't scary. Oh my god, the sass here. I don't think he's lost. I'm just gonna say hi. With a start, he jumped to his feet, his hands balling into fists at his side. He didn't say anything, just stared at you in a strange way. He'd been crying. There were traces of tears on his cheeks and his knees, soaking the hem of his shorts, and his eyes were still shining with a few more. You'd obviously caught him off guard. His pink cast seemed to glow in the twilight, though when he caught you staring at it, he did hide his arm behind his back. Something the man earlier had said stuck out to you. Cove? Eyes wide, he studied you. How do you know that? I was sarcastic. I was so sarcastic as a kid. I never grew out of that, and I never will. I'm gonna go with I'm all-knowing. That's a lie. Tell the truth. Okay, your dad told me who you were. So, is this your hill? He gestured with his uninjured arm to the patch of grass surrounding you, his face falling at the prospect. I can leave if it is. You shook your head. While doing so, you also picked up a strand of lint from your leg. What a weird question to ask someone. Oh, if it's their hill. Got it. Oh. He sat back down with a thump, resting his chin on his knees again. Curious about the strange new boy with the odd dad, you sat on the patch of grass next to him. The pure white flowers that covered this hill rocked back and forth gently as the stars twinkled above. The way they dotted the sky made them seem like flowers too. The night wind was cool as it traveled over the ocean and up the hill, chasing away the heat from the afternoon sun. Listen. This is getting into possible trauma stuff. I'm just gonna go with a vague, why are you here? And let him fill in the blank for himself. A quiet hiccup escaped Cove as soon as you asked the question. Almost like they'd never stopped, his tears started up again with a vengeance. My parents. They don't want to live together with me anymore. The tears fell fast and heavy over his flushed cheeks, sticking in his dark lashes. Your parents are getting a divorce? My mom made my dad leave, and he took me with him. And now we have a house here, and I want to go home. Oh God! The outburst took you off guard. By the time he was done wailing, Cove's chest was heaving with exhaustion. He sniffled and removed his glasses, wiping at his eyes with the back of his hand before he put them back on again. I hate this place. I want my real life back. I want my mom. Stop crying. You'll like it here. You just have to get used to it. Just empathize. I'm sorry. He slipped his hand underneath his glasses and pressed his fingers against his eyelids. Cove wound himself up again for another long crying fit. You felt bad for him, being forced to come here with no choice. You couldn't imagine what it would feel like to live with only one of your moms, but it must be pretty hard. But from way off in the distance, you heard your parents. Franklin! Cove! Kids, where did you go? Cove looked at you, tears clinging to his cheeks. Don't tell them we're here.
I want to go home.
I don't want to go back to that house. I want to go home. It will be okay. Sorry, I have to. Don't worry so much. You have to go. Oh, I don't like any of these responses. Thinking as me as a kid. Not because I have a level of emotional maturity that an 8-year-old would not have. I would probably spout my parents' bullshit about just fake it till you make it. I don't think it would be you can handle it. I think it will be okay. It will be okay. You were struck by a sudden need to reassure Cove. It's not gonna all be fun, but isn't he your family too? Yeah, I guess. Then you can count on him when you really, really need him. You shot him a grin and pushed yourself to your feet. Slowly, Cove stood up with you, still looking a little reluctant. His dad's voice rang out again. Cove! Can you hear me? He looked toward the sound of his dad's voice, silent, then turned away while rubbing his hands. Well, where did I get hands? Where did I read hands from? Anyways, then turned away while rubbing his not bandaged arm. Sorry. Still don't want to go. You called out yourself. You waited silently with him. You tried to convince him. I was too much of goody two-shoes. But also, if I was making a friend, I would not have just sold them out. So I think I try to convince him. Are you sure? You'd have to stay outside the whole night and sleep on wet grass. Before Cove could say anything else, you heard his dad's voice again, even closer than before. There you are, bud! The trio of parents appeared over the curve of the hill. Instantly, all their eyes landed on you, and they rushed over. They are my moms. They are my moms. Get your mind out of the gutter. Anyways, why they got a drum like that? Anyways, both of your moms were at your side in a split second, faces filled with worry. Franklin, you're here after all. One is mom and one is mommy. Damn right. Anyways, we'd been at the park to check for Cove and then heard what happened earlier when you met the new neighbor. I thought you might have gone off further away. No, we were just sitting in the grass. Why is everybody acting like this is such a big thing? You're 8. No. Okay, don't worry. We're okay, don't worry. Thank God you're both fine. Were you two having fun out here? You looked over at Cove, who was wiggling against his dad's tight hug and pushing at his arms. He's good. I think I'm gonna marry you. Okay. So, fun fact, I never would have. There were plenty of people I had huge crushes on as a little kid. I never was like, I'm gonna marry that person. Though I did famously tell one of my sister's friends, who was a teenager when I was a little kid, I did wrap my arm around her and say, wait for me. She didn't wait for me. Anyways, but But yeah, no. Growing up, all the adults were like, I had a close female friend, and everyone was like, someday they're gonna get married. And I'm like, no, we're not. No. Yes, I like him. I mean, I don't want to, because we're not having fun here. The kid was crying, and I wouldn't be like, yeah, we're having a great time, I like this kid. I'd probably be like, no idea. He's new here. It was okay. Finally letting go of his squirming, scowling son, Cove's dad turned to the three of you. Thanks very much for finding him. I really don't know this neighborhood. Good thing Franklin knows this whole area so well. Absolutely. We should be getting home now. It's been a long day for us all. Say goodbye, Cove. Bye. The two of them walked off into the darkness, heading toward the neighborhood. You watched Cove's bright pink cast until it disappeared. Tell you what, we'll have a proper play date tomorrow, okay? Your new friend's dad wanted to bring him by to see you and Lizzie. How does that sound? Sure, can I show him my stuff? It sounds like it sounds like words. Anyways, you nodded, ducking your head down. Oh, how much of a smartass was I? I was a big smartass. Both of your moms laughed, the sounds overlapping into a warm, familiar chorus. Mommy put her arm around your shoulder and led you towards the path. Satisfied and more than a little ready to go to bed after your long, exciting day, you followed them home. Choose your feelings for Cove. Oh God, this is how you feel towards Cove for this step. It can change in later steps. Okay. Okay. What does this mean? What does this mean? What does any of this mean? I think I am relaxed. I am in the dominant position in this relationship at the moment. I am from here. Am I fond of him yet? It's like, I'm gonna go with fond. He's fine. He's fine. I'm also gonna save real quick, because if I return to this at any point, this feels like a big moment. Okay. Ready. Begin step 1 at relaxed fondness. You won't be able to change it again until step 2. Yes. Okay. At the breakfast table the next morning, you finished your food faster than usual. Your sister Lizzie had run out earlier to go play, but you'd stayed put. Today, just like your moms had promised, Cove was coming over to hang out. Excited to see your new friend again, Franklin? Yeah, I am.
How sweet.
How sweet. I'm so happy he moved in.
Okay.
With that said, are you done with your breakfast? Oh my god. I was such a smartass. I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna go with the. Yeah, I wasn't that much of a like. You gotta choose the time, the place. I was never good at it, but you choose it. Anyways, with all the exasperation an 8-year-old can muster, you looked at your empty cereal bowl, then at your mom.
Okay.
Okay, attitude kid. We see. I just said yeah. Did I not say yeah? Good job. He should be here soon. Cleanup began, and then on cue, there was a knock. It was hesitant, like the person wasn't sure they were in the right place. Still loud, though. We need to get a more obvious doorbell. I know. Franklin, could you get it? Wiggling out of your chair without really pushing it back, you made your way to the door. Hey, Deeb family. Thanks for having us. Mr. Holden, as your moms have called him, and his son were here. Okay. Cove looked different in the bright lighting of your living room and when he wasn't crying. With his dad standing in front of him and mom and mommy behind you, you and Cove looked at each other. Pleased to see your new friend again, you smiled at Cove. He smiled back with some hesitation. Let's go play in my room. Okay.
Take care.
Let us know if you need anything, you two. Have fun, kids.
See you.
See you later, son. Play nice. You led him into your room, puffing out your chest a little bit at the sight of your treasures. There were lots of stuffed animals, a cool bed, a window to look out. It was a great room. You hadn't had anyone to show it to in a while, but you were really proud of it. He leaned in a little closer to one of your drawings on the wall. I like this. Ooh. Okay. I feel. Okay. I feel like I never really liked my own artwork. I still to this day don't like the stuff that I make. None of these videos. I drew it, but it's not very good. I think it is. You smiled slightly at him. Even if it wasn't work you were pleased with, it was polite of him to say. He turned to look around the room a little more, studying the books on your desk and the pictures on the walls. You started to feel a bit nervous. You felt the atmosphere was kind of awkward. You were glad for the company. You hoped he liked your room. I was always an awkward child. You wanted to say something, but didn't know what, so you let him keep looking. Then his eyes landed on the tiny box of beach things you'd collected tucked away by your door. He took a step towards it before hesitating and pointing at it instead. What's that? A hoard of stuff I found on the beach. Do you have any driftwood in there? Dragging the box into the middle of the room, you and Cove flopped down next to it. I think so. Yeah, see? You gestured to a piece at the bottom, still covered with specks of sand. Neat. This is a good collection. You got the sense from the tone of his voice that he wasn't just saying it to be nice. Or to be like Shiloh. He actually meant it. Who? Oh right. I almost forgot. Shiloh is going to be here today. Who the heck is Shiloh? Shiloh? Lizzie's friend. Or, like, her #1 fan, I guess? Do I have to see him? It should be okay. I mean, he's Lizzie's friend, not mine, but you know. Come on, check out my shells some more. Check out my shells some more. I found this one under a big piece of seaweed that had washed ashore, and you pulled out seashell after seashell, explaining where you'd gotten each one and holding them up against the light. There were big ones, small ones, pink, purple, and orange. Most of them you washed off in the bathroom sink when you brought them home, cleaning off the sands. Over the past few years, you'd even learned some of their scientific names. The collection was so huge and varied that you had lots of funny stories to tell for all of them. Your voice faltered a little bit, but you kept going as best as you could. I'm very nervous. I feel like little Frankie was a nerd. You had a whole picture book dedicated to the different shells in sea life. You'd learned a lot by flipping through its pages. I had so many of those children's encyclopedia books, like picture encyclopedia books, where it's like a different subject, and then it was just like a white cover with a bunch of different like things from the subject on the cover. Anyone know what I'm talking about? Tell me if you do. Anyways, you learned a lot by flipping through its pages. I loved those books. Apparently fascinated either by the stories or by the shells themselves, Cove listened with what looked like the full force of his attention. It was a new experience to be the center of such a dedicated focus. Oh my god, you have no idea how nice that is. As a child who was constantly being talked over. Okay. But Cove hadn't been mean to you, so you didn't mind. You smiled at him every now and then while showing him your collection. Kids, come down to the living room. You could tell the idea was making him unhappy, but Mommy wasn't giving you much of a chance to hang around. Cove hadn't been like this meeting you. You guessed it was because he thinks you found each other by accident, not that a parent made it happen. Mr. Holden must be right that telling Cove his dad was a part of it would be a bad idea. Listen, I did it to look for a kid because they were like, he's missing, and I'm like, I guess I'll look. Yeah, sure. I'm not being his friend because Mr. Holden said so, you know? It's like, it's nice to have a friend. Before you knew it, you'd both been escorted downstairs and deposited in the living room, ready for Shiloh's visit. The two of you sat side by side on the floor of your home's entryway. I brought the box of shells. I want to keep looking at them. I would not have been that bothered. I might have said, be careful. His shells are fragile. I will. You weren't sure if you could trust someone else with your treasures yet, so you stayed next to him while he opened the lid and peered inside. Cove reached in and pulled out a big orange shell. Oh. Like he hadn't spoken aloud yet, he turned to you and held it up, his eyes shining. I think this one is the best of them. I'm 8. I would not have given a shell to someone. But I would have been like, oh yeah, that's cool, but here's my favorite. And honestly, that's on the ADHD. You reached into the box to take out the one you preferred. Cove looked on with interest. The two of you were still sitting on the floor looking through your collection of beach findings when the doorbell finally rang. Cove jumped, startled by the sound. Since the person hadn't knocked, you figured it was probably Shiloh. He knew where to look for, he knew where to look for that. What? Anyways. Oh. He didn't knock. And they had knocked hesitantly because they didn't know where they were. Got it. Lizzie's friend? You nodded, but that didn't seem to make Cove feel better. It was already obvious that Cove didn't hide his feelings well. You could tell what he was thinking right away. This isn't a good idea. You'll be alright. He's here. We can't tell him to leave. He's at our only door, and if you go upstairs, he'll find you. Cove glanced around the room, his eyes wide, and finally paused with his gaze locked on the onto the back of the house. Go out the window. He was already walking towards it. Scrambling to think of something to say, you stepped forward, then paused. Do you want to break your other arm? Oh, no. I still don't know how he broke the arm in the first place. I don't want to bring up something potentially awkward. Shiloh is the least scary person alive. Cheer up. Shiloh's gonna like you. Please don't get hurt. I was a little troublemaker. The number of times that I climbed through a window when I was a kid, usually because we'd gotten locked out of our apartment, and my parents would like bust open the screen on one of the windows and just send me through, and they'd be like, unlock the door. But also there is a story that Patrick told as a part of his best man speech for me, where we used to basically pretend to be spies while we were at church together, and we'd like cross the entire like church campus, like trying to sneak around, be undetected. I feel like good idea, let's go is me. Hurry, they'll see where we're going. He glanced back at you, then nodded. The two of you made your way to the window together. It wasn't much of a distance to clamber out, but by the time you landed gently in the bushes, you looked up to see that Cove was already taking off away from the house. He was fast, but you knew you could outrun him if you had to. He was not that fast. You knew you could outrun him if you had to. He was not that fast, but neither were you. Yeah. At that speed, you weren't sure you could go fast enough to reach him. That was me growing up. There were plenty of kids who were so freaking fast, and I was like, I'll get there eventually. Hey, wait up. You ran as fast as your legs would take you, grass whipping around your ankles as you did so. Cautiously, Cove slowed to a halt and looked back at you. Where are you going? I don't know, somewhere else. I just don't want to see. Franklin! You looked back and saw Shiloh huffing down the hill after you, the backpack he clutched bouncing all around along the way. Wow. What are you doing? Can I come? He must have seen you leaving out the window and followed behind. Hi. I thought the sister was a big sister, and now I'm realizing that she's the little sister. So Shiloh's the young one. Shiloh's younger than us. Perfect. Okay. Oh, hi. Are you Cove? Yeah. I'm Shiloh. Okay. Yep. Are we going back? Are we going to play outside? Shiloh's eyes moved between you and Cove. The smile remained strong on his face. This is classic older kid thing of being like, I don't want to deal with the young kid. No. I think I love this game. And I'm going to keep playing it. But for now, that's all the time I got for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching this. If you like this, make sure to hit that like button. If you want to see more, make sure to hit subscribe. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.